Once upon a time, in the area known as Germany, there existed an empire so glorious and so large that it encompassed several hundred regions within itself. This empire is commonly referred to by most as the Holy Roman Empire.
In the year 1555, the Peace of Augsburg was signed. This gave German princes the power to decide the religion of their respective regions.
The respectable princes chose the proper religion for their land, Catholicism. Unfortunately, some disgraceful ones elected Lutheranism, or even Calvinism, despite it not being recognized at the time.
Soon, religious and political divisions began to grow in the regions of the Holy Roman Empire. The superb Catholic states, part of the powerful Catholic League, and the Protestant states, part of the meek Protestant Union, began to quarrel about religions being practiced.
The spectacular Austrian Habsburgs rightfully wished to create a mighty monarchy under Catholicism, all while undoing the gains made by the impertinent Protestants.
Unfortunately, not everyone was as happy about this as they should have been. Conceited German princes, for example, strongly opposed giving up their individual rights.
To add to this instability, the wicked French chose to prioritize political gains over religion. Not wanting a mighty, united Germany, they chose to support the impudent Protestants.
The French were not the only ones supporting enemies of the powerful Catholic states. Evil Lutherans aimed to aid the Protestants in their corrupt goals.
Due to the insolence of the Protestants and all that who supported them, the carnage that later came to be known as the 30-Year Wars soon began. The first stage of this bloody conflict began in 1618 with the beginning of the Bohemian Civil War.
On one side of this civil war was the morally correct Catholic League commanded by the great Holy Roman Emperor Ferdinand II. On the other was the immoral Protestant Union led by the vile Frederick V.
After numerous spectacular victories under the guidance of the glorious Ferdinand II, in 1625 the amazing Catholics and Habsburgs gained control of Bohemia. Unfortunately, this was only the first part of a bloody multi-stage conflict.
Shortly after the magnificent Catholic victory, that same year, the second stage of the conflict, known as the Danish phase, began. The horrible Christian Fourth of Denmark came to aid the evil Protestants. Seeing the sorry state the Protestants were in, the Dutch and English went to aid them as well.
Despite the large evil group opposing the mighty Catholic side, the great Albert of Wallenstein decimated the Protestants and achieved a grand victory for the spectacular Catholics in 1629.
After the triumphant Catholics put the Protestants in their place for a second time, Ferdinand issued the Edict of Restitution, which rightfully gave back Catholics all the property that the Protestants stole since 1552.
A year after the glorious Catholics achieved their well-deserved victory in the Danish phase, the third stage, known as the Swedish phase, began in 1630. This honorable Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden, with the support of the impudent Dutch and French, attacked Wallenstein's forces. Likely as a result of vast amounts of treachery, Gustavus Adolphus defeated Wallenstein's forces in 1635, despite the fierce and resolute resistance the brave Catholics put forth for 5 trying years.
As luck would have it, Gustavus Adolphus died, preventing a possibly filthy Swedish takeover of the remarkable Holy Roman Empire. Unluckily, however, this purely luck-based victory by the horrid Swedish prevented all of Germany from being united under the one proper religion, Catholicism.
The same year, the awful Swedish achieved victory over the Holy Catholics. In 1635, the stage known as the French phase began. Following Gustavus Adolphus' death, the belligerent French promised to finish what he foolishly started.
This was the most destructive and heinous of the 4 stages due to the vile atrocities the French committed. The revolting Swedish, French, and Dutch armies likely did not want to risk fighting the mighty Catholic forces in a fair fight.
So, instead, they burned the farms of innocent Germans and destroyed German commerce. Entire parts of the German population were decimated as a result of the heinous acts these vandals committed.
These atrocities finally ceased in 1648 as a result of the Peace of Westphalia. One result of this treaty was that hundreds of German regions were now allowed to conduct their diplomacy separately from one another. Another, rather unfortunate result is that yet another non-Catholic religion, Calvinism, became recognized.
Instead of getting punished for all the numerous vile acts the Dutch and Swiss committed, they each got rewards. Switzerland's neutrality became recognized, as did Dutch independence. The contemptuous French, for their crimes, got rewarded by acquiring the regions of Alsace and Lorraine, which were overflowing with resources.
Thus, the 30 Years' War came to an end and consequences soon followed. The traitorous French achieved their objective, and Germany remained politically and religiously divided for a good while to come. Moreover, the filthy French became the strongest power in Europe. Religious toleration became prominent following the end of this war. Now, instead of people being encouraged to follow one true religion, Catholicism, they began to gain the ability to practice the religions they wished.
Germany suffered greatly. Roughly one-third of all German-speaking people died as a result of the despicable acts of France and its horrible allies in the final stage of the 30 Years' War. The villainous Dutch had control of the Rhine River, and thus German commerce suffered, and it would be a long time before it recovered. The great Holy Roman Empire sadly ceased to be an effective governing body.
In addition, nations took note of how this conflict was fought and adapted accordingly. They began to form professional fighting forces and increase taxes in order to be able to increase the size of their national armies.
The end of the 30 Years' War led to a system of relations between nations similar to what exists today.
Thus ends the tale of the battle waged over the course of the 30 Years' War between the Holy Catholic League and the demonic Protestants and their allies. The end.
The respectable princess chose the proper religion.
I knew that man was waiting for that.
Oops. Chewy. Chewy.
I started doing Chewy right now, bro. Chewy sounds like trying to chill.
Yo, my fault, Chewy.
Next time you mess up, I'm doing the eyes thing. So just keep.
Dude, you messed up more than me now.
I don't
Get
know.
a fact check on that.
We could later.
Genuinely, bro. Someone take this slushy away from me, bro. Toss it.
No.